So yeah, we have 4 circles. Usually we start with Ivy. So Ivy, would you like me to share the screen, or would you share yourself?
I think I would suggest starting with the trust and reputation while Grip is here because it covers the OP score. Because I think Grip will be here only the first half hour. And then
True.
I can go next. Yeah.
I should leave at like the 35-minute mark.
Oh no. Well, let's start it. I'm leading the trust and reputation circle. And let me and then share my screen. Yeah. Which is that screen? This one, I think. No, it's too slow. I think Max, can you help me? Sharing screen. Taking like a thanks. Okay. So on trust and the potential circle, we had 2 main objectives. One is this idea about promoting these mutual beneficial relationships and common causes values. Very long one, I know, but basically is to create these win-win scenarios, win-win collaborations, win-win connections. And for doing that, I lead this repetition circle calls. We had this between 3 or 4 participants per session during the Q2, and the idea is having a dynamic space to connect, share knowledge, expertise, and perspectives on the trust and reputation topics. But also this space was used to iterate on current proposals or the proposals we had during the Q2. One of those proposals, for example, was the refi passport, and everything changed there a little bit, like by the end of the Q2. But yeah, we had the opportunity to find these spaces for discussion, to have these interactions and explore by the end. I mean, the final thoughts in the end was to explore this prosperity passport concept and having potential alignment with other projects and the goals we shared during those spaces. So yeah, we are taking it with a different perspective. But again, the idea to have these dynamic spaces to discuss all these topics related to trust and reputation. For example, we had a couple of sessions with Umberto. Umberto is wrongly written, but okay. Umberto, he has a Decredit project, and we helped him to define a little bit more the trust scoring system he's using for this project, which is basically focused on the micro lending, but decentralized. So that's why it's Decredit, decentralized credits for people, for startups and small entrepreneurial projects in a city. So yeah. And what else? Another thing we consider appropriate to explore and to initiate was the Region Awards. And it is consolidating this strong committee. So in the end, we invited region experts to be part of this organizer committee to share their vision for this initiative. I mean, I drafted this proposal, and then we had a couple of meetings to finally get all the ideas together to structure it the best, to understand what could be the opportunities there and the way to measure properly these awards. I mean, having the criteria, how we are going to evaluate it, and so on. We're still having these communications happening, and we expect to announce it hopefully soon by initiating this quarter. Another thing we did was to implement HATS protocol. It was implemented for having this future on-chain member tracking and these token access benefits we expect to have with our members. With also, it is connected to the membership, the mentorship program. That will be something that Luis will present later. And yeah, trying to find ways to. We're not yet sure if retaking trust as the token, but yes, having a way of measuring and rewarding the members' participation. And of course, strengthen the idea about trust and reputation across the members and the community overall. And yeah, again, the best, maybe the important key here topic, the OP score, the OP network graph, an alliance with general magic. And well, Max probably will be the best one to share some in-depth information there, but basically an interface to explore these intersections between the OP power users to find these supporters, build more alliances and so on. But yeah, again, Max has a little bit more information on this specific topic. I don't know, Max, if you wanted to jump in, and then I can continue.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, to present it like maybe a bit later. The key idea is like there is this alliance going on, and I'm now waiting for some feedback from GM tech team to apply with this project for the OP Retro PGF in August. Just you know, the idea is maybe to put like such a graph for different attestations, so you can see the intersection, for example, who supported which projects, or if you need to find some specific citizen, you can see if you have been on same events through OPPO apps or something. So this should help to find this intersection between people. But hopefully, like, this is just a sneak peek. I hope to show it more further on.
Thanks, Max. Well, yeah, that's as he said, the sneak peek of this idea. Another program that it is important for us is the matchmaking, and matchmaking is mostly like it concentrate this idea about having these win-win connections. And well, across the Q2, we had the opportunity to connect, to invite to participate to our programs several people, bunch of people, like Nate. We invited him to be part of the region award. Kent and Kate from Camper Copy also are part of this region award, as well as Jane from the Blockchain for Good. So, and in the same time, we are having like our connections that are happening, you know, so trying to build these win-win scenarios. Also, I changed the recently the time for having the trust and reputation call, so Gideon can make it and join, so we can have a more interactive sessions and having more meaningful discussions that are happening to help us each other in our current programs. Can you scroll down a little bit, Max, please? What is frozen for me? But I don't know if okay. Thanks. I created a longer report on this matchmaking program, and you will be able to see it there. And of course, there are areas for improvement. I'm talking about increasing the circle call of participation. I'm talking about improving the matchmaking program, trying to leverage our current data, the information we have, to also to create maybe a dedicated Telegram group with a space only dedicated to nurture these connections. So we're exploring different ways to strengthen this objective moving forward to the Q3. And on the objective number 2, which is promote this constructive activity. It's a very long one. Scroll down a little bit, Max, please. Okay. Constructive activity and limit over extractive and speculative processes. What we have been identifying and trying to research this focus on these two problems, which are our speculative or ineffective refi. Part of the solution could be these region awards, and the other one is having a real region economy impact measurement. And then we are trying to implement something similar to to find these interconnections between what our members are currently doing and how they are impacting our ecosystem, the close one. I'm talking about the Gives ecosystem, for example, and ways of nurturing it to create this more regenerative impact. So that's all inside the trust and reputation circle for now.
Wow, that's a lot. A quick question on the OP networking thing. So would this replace OP score? We'd focus more on an OP network graph. Is that what you guys are thinking?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Smaller scope and easier to achieve, it sounds like.
It can
Nice.
include score, but it seems like, again, I don't want to go into deep because we have many other things to cover, but I can maybe do a dedicated session with you or even share you some specs.
Cool. Very cool. Exciting.
Okay,
Thanks.
any other questions or feedback to reputation circle? Ivy?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, I will be very quick with my report. So if the other board members have the time to talk about your projects. Yeah, for the diversity and engagement circle in the past quarter, we mainly focused on partnerships, membership, and the quest. So for in the last quarter, we made 6 new partners through the quest with Glow Dollar, Earth, Arable, and Refi Hub. So with Arable, there's still a pending work agreement with them. And with Refi Hub, yeah, there's also I don't know if the agreement has been signed, but the idea with for Glow Dollar, Earth, and Arable, we're doing quests for them to onboard more regions in their projects. And in return, for example, Arable is relaunching their token, so they will reward the quest participants with their tokens. And then for Refi Hub, there are some planning to airdrop some planned airdrops for trusted members, but maybe Max can talk about it more because he's the one in direct contact with the Refi Hub. And then I added ENS DAO and Celo Public Good because we're not working with them directly, but we received funding from them in the last quarter through the grants program. So yeah, so we added it there. And then so now we have a total of I think this quarter we made partners like organically, not outside Giveth. So I think it's been a fruitful quarter for us in making new partnerships. Can you scroll down, Max? To the membership metrics, yeah. Yeah, so in the last quarter, in the months of May and June, those are the months when most of the memberships were expiring. So we also put a lot of effort on reaching out to members to renew their memberships. And you can see here the renewal rate in May and June. So in total, the renewal rate is 14%. In the past, we've been getting very little engagement with our network. We were only targeting like 10% renewals, to be honest, but we achieved 14%. And in total, can you scroll down, Max? So you can see the total number of our network. So currently we have 383 members, and 21% are the active ones, including all the active members the whole year. And only 2 people signaled that they want to end their membership from Trusted Seed. Can you scroll down more? And then for the quest, we got 13 players, and through the quest campaign, we received 67 membership applications. And then also in the last quarter, we have engaged several people in different working groups from each circle, mainly from Reputation Circle, as Yine mentioned earlier in her report. And also Max started the Region Co-op Bank working group. where 10 to 15 people are participating. And then in the last quarter, we also had 162 contributors on Gitcoin. I think in our it is our most successful Gitcoin round where we raised $8,000. And yeah, I think this is the biggest funding we've had in our Gitcoin history from Trusted Seeds. So yeah, so those are the main highlights from and then in the diversity aspect, we are trying to onboard or get memberships from GAP from this can you scroll down, Max? We have identified some diversity gaps in our network. Can you click on that arrow? Yeah, thanks. So mainly from geographically, we're trying to get more members from Australia, New Zealand, and also to have more women in our network. So but in the past quarter, we've received 4 new membership applications from this lacking segments. So yeah, that's my short report. I don't know if you have questions.
I have maybe an ignorant question. I was not aware that Trusted Seed membership gets, like, you have to renew this. How often do you have to renew this? Is it like a yearly thing, bi-yearly thing?
It's a renewal, an annual membership. So we have to renew it annually. But mainly the renewal is just to signal your activity, your presence in the network, like your interest to still be part of the network.
Okay, thank you.
And sorry, this
Maybe-
may be a stupid question, but what does being a part of the network actually mean? Like, what is being an active Trusted Seed member?
Avi, would you like to take that?
Or is there a document that you could send me to so I can go learn about that myself? But maybe I should know as a board member.
Yeah, in the past we used to have this Legal Swiss Association where Trusted Seed members can be covered for any legal expenses. But we stopped doing that. So for this for the memberships, since we're not getting a lot of we're not requiring a lot of membership dues. So becoming a member means having this opportunity to participate in our exclusive programs. Like for example, for the quests, to be eligible for these rewards, you have the opportunity to participate in the quest. Also an opportunity to be highlighted in our communications. Like if you have a project, we can also connect you with other projects, and yeah, you have an opportunity to connect with other with other Trusted Seed members. And yeah, and also we're looking into more like for example, the if there's a project launching a token and they're looking for a region network to tap into, to invite in their token launch. Like for example, the use case with the ReFi Hub that Max is working on. So yeah, so that's also a benefit for being a member. I don't know, Max, if you want to.
Yeah, it's basically
more.
we're trying to like measure the active core of the community, because some people already exist for what 4 years, more than 4 years, and some people who joined back then, they were maybe even joining it under the other name, the common stack, you know, and a bit different. And this is the way of us to know who's keeping up with things, and then we can focus on them.
Another question is, how are you communicating with your Trusted Seed members that these are the programs that you're developing and having? Do you have like a newsletter? Do you have like a community call or?
Yeah, we send a quarterly community updates, and also in the when the new member gets activated, we also encourage them to check the participate page on our website. And every time we have a new program, we communicate it in through email and also on Twitter and also Discord announcements.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Any other things on the diversity and engagement?
Well, maybe maybe it makes more sense at the end, but I've got some feedback maybe on like engagement, more on the board side. But anyway, we can maybe get to that at the end. I don't want to disrupt the flow of the meeting.
We specifically go circle by circle, and if it's connected with this, it would be great to hear that. And thanks, Griff.
I guess it's participation and engagement in terms of this board meeting, but I'm just thinking there's like such a amazing group of people here, and maybe like a different structure could work really well for like getting the most out of the board members and this crew. Potentially like, you know, more liberating structure as opposed to one to many. It's like many to many kind of thing. So I don't know. What I was thinking maybe is like pre-reading, because like I find it slightly difficult to process all of the information maybe. But if I could pre-read it, I could really scan through, see which elements are relevant, which elements I want more questions on. And then maybe when it gets to like a board meeting like this, we could all come together in a Figma and highlight the points of discussion, feedback. I'd be more able to like give feedback and write down notes and put stuff in that could be more helpful, raise questions, and we can park them in a questions thing. I don't know, just some ideas. Maybe that would be a good engagement mechanism for the board members to get more structured input, advice, feedback, questions, comments. Could be a good way to explore it. But anyway, don't want to disrupt the flow too much, but just something that popped into my head.
I think it's really up to the point, to be honest. And I also feel that these meetings should be more where the board speaks, less us. But we probably should have really sent it beforehand, and next time we'll be better in that. Thanks. Any other comments on this or the circle? Okay, moving to Luis. Luis, how's your connection?
I think it's good. Just a second. Let me fix the audio. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. If it crashes for any reason, you can assume that that's in the internet. And I'm not just running away. So basically my focus is for the focuses that I had on Q2. The first one was the refund
Stop hearing you.
I'm personally really happy with that. More information.
Now you're back.
Can you hear me?
Now you're back, yes.
Okay, amazing. If you could open the toggle, Max, there's some more information. Didn't really. Okay, cool. Kind of like report of how the conference went. If you go a little bit more down, there's some metrics. So we had in total, of course, a lot of people like coming and going. In total, like 40 participants. Yeah, I mean, you can see all the information there. It was really good from my side to kind of like concretize and bring to real life, basically like the vision of, especially like of this year from the Trusted Seed of establishing like regional alliances and everything. And to me, the Refund conference really felt as like a concrete kind of like real life crystallization of that.
Oh, Luis, we lost you again, I guess, I think.
Also, I've been slowly preparing a report. So there. Oh, hello. Oh,
It's
no.
okay now. It just sometimes drops for a few seconds, I guess. Yeah, the connection isn't working so well. Luis, any change? Well, yeah, I shared, by the way, we typically work in this file, every week and update it. And I shared it in the chat. So if you feel like you want to dig into something or review, it's it's here again. I'll share it. But yeah, the conference was amazing. And the HEADS protocol, it was described a bit. It will help us to do lots of integrations, like with Charmverse for our members, and we track our members, our gardeners, but potentially both members as well. And two big things that are coming is the mentorship program. It was really one of the most requested thing from our community members. And we got really generous matching from the TEC community. So the idea is to connect together like token engineers and technical specialists with the ecological activists and people on the ground who can, issue a token for the eco village or something like that. So to extend this expertise both ways about the ecological needs and the technical capabilities. And also, this is information, but we're looking to do not just only the co-op bank, but also an associated research that would help us understand more about the current needs and what exists and where we can develop it inside of our network. Luis? Yes?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. Thank you, Max, for covering my part. Maybe I can add a couple of things if my internet is good. Does it seem that it's working? Or
Yeah.
if it's
go
not,
ahead.
then we can just move on. Cool. So if it could go a little bit up, I just basically wanted to connect like that a little bit more. Cool. So that mostly with HEADS protocol, what we've been doing, like the idea is to have a kind of simple early implementation. So we'll be using it for some quite specific use cases initially. So for instance, we'll be using that for access management and for the mentorship program. We have like established the integration with guilds.xyz and Charmverse. So for instance, each mentorship could like use Charmverse for different things. We've been also exploring some of these like functionalities of Charmverse that apparently can be quite relevant, and some really apparently like simple mechanisms to adopt to have like some more kind of governance and like community platforms. So a few of these like points and kind of like use cases, it has like something kind of similar to the idea of the social catalog. So that's an idea that can be explored later on. So basically each trusted seed member or people would have like different roles in the trusted seed. So for instance, like a mentor in the mentorship program, they could all be seen with these specific roles in the social catalog. And also we try to do like a really easy implementation, and we'd be looking also to support other like close communities and projects that would be interested in adopting like a similar structure. We had already been exploring how it could work with kind of some previous pivots of the ReFi Passport, but in any way, it seems to be kind of a good structure, like way to structure like organizations and so on chain. So we would also like to help other groups like ReFi, for instance, to adopt it when there will be interest. Maybe then if you could go a little bit down, Max. Is my internet good now? Can I just
Yes.
kind of continue normally? Cool. Amazing. So yeah, for the mentorship program, so that's basically it. We'll be starting it on Q3. We've been mostly planning it in the last quarter. So as Max was mentioning, like we have all these different tracks. Basically, we would like to attract kind of experts into each one of these fields, and then basically establish these one-on-one mentorships in which there will be a mentor that would be an expert in this field. So for instance, an expert in token engineering or in climate like solutions or applications, maybe an expert in the Celo ecosystem and so on. We've been connecting that with different like grant programs and kind of Gitcoin rounds and so on. And then basically the idea is to cross-pollinate kind of these groups. So as Max was saying, like connect like a token engineering like expert with someone who is maybe like a permaculture expert who may be interested and who, if there would be relevance for that. The incentive for mentors, basically, we've been using for each one of the tracks the rewards that we've been getting from the programs. So for instance, for the token engineering track, that's from the token engineering round. So basically, we'll take the what we got on the token engineering Gitcoin round, and some of that we still have to see like what percentage like nicely can be distributed to mentors basically. But also the idea would be that the mentorship would be kind of like an advisory role as well. So the idea also would be that mentors themselves could be interested in like providing this kind of assistance and like advices to projects they would be interested in. Basically, we'd be having like using like Heads protocol and so on for like on-chain attestation and so on. So that can be like mentors can eventually like build up kind of like a history of like projects they have been supporting, like skill and so on. And then basically, I think my biggest take here, we would be really good to get as much like relevant people that could become mentors. So we are just polishing a couple of things. We're preparing the public pages for the mentorship program. We're preparing a page to share around for each one of the tracks, and then we'll be sharing more details like on the chats and next updates. And if you'd have, if maybe any of you personally would be interested in participating in the mentorship program, or maybe would know anyone that could be a good match, then it would be amazing to get any indications. And yeah, I think that's it for my kind of addendum, so that we still have some time. Thank you.
Questions or comments here? Okay, I'll try to also go through my points, and maybe we'll have still some time, because the question I wanted to invite you to think together about is, this is like the report of what happened, and there's many things I can understand, but we really would like to get some guidance and view on where we should focus next quarter. So I invite you to like start, maybe like getting some ideas on that and share it in a few minutes. Some administrative things we got is like basically input we got in the organization within the budget was around 30K for the quarter, and we had 4 gardeners, and we produced like various ecosystem services programs for the like regenerative movement, intersection of eco and Web3. It was in supporting, in regulation, cultural things where we attended or organized some events, and we also had some of this things with offsets, and we had some revenues in terms of our donations and income. Also, I tried to kind of like we had at the beginning of the year, we identified key partners for us, and this is basically we were like we got some proceeds from the Regions Core project that help us, cover. But I think for the next quarters, we would need to be maybe more agile with matching the revenues and the budgets. With the key partners, I tried to outline what was the impact for different partners. For example, like for the GM being a dev company, we had like attempted to help with recruiting, and we also bring projects like Regions Core before, and now we have this graph. For the OP, it's like would be a new tool. For the Giveth, we onboard new projects. For the ReFi DAO, now we're like in development, like Ukraine hub, for the network. And before that, it was like development over the Barcelona hub. For the region network, it was with this banking idea and the loan for like which is in development for a specific project. It's for Sohto, and Sohto, by the way, is both member of region network and Trusted Seed, so that's beneficial for he's doing a regenerative project in Turkey. we were like holding and promoting the tokenomics working group. And now this mentorship program would also touch that, which also works with TSC. And yeah, looking forward to work on the reputation tools together. And with new partners, the product which is quite successful, we could say, or is like scalable, is like quests or airdrops, where regenerative projects, like new projects, they want to either educate or spread awareness about some things, or like they are launching a token and they want to airdrop it to the trusted region people. This is already like 4 projects we're working with together on that, providing them with such a list of people and their respective reputation. So yeah, with the reinvestment stories, we like co-op banking seems to be one of these projects where we would invite our community members to invest together in the like other people they trust inside the network. In the case of GlowDollar, for example, we got $500 from their program, and we reinvested all of that into like give it back to the community members. And also I did a small analytics estimating that if we count like all of Trusted Seed members had on their public accounts around $9 million of holdings. And I tried to count how much of the like donations and regenerative assets they have, and that was around 10% of this. This is still at early research, but just sharing some of the insights from that. So here I invite you for like questions or comments, and also maybe going into the topic for the next quarter conversation. Yeah, Nana.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, we spoke a little bit about co-op banking before, but it's good to see like some more development there with like working with Soto and things, just like the Earthist Network is the name of their project. And my question is, by creating this lending pool of sorts where people in the Web3 ecosystem come together, pool in some money and can invest in some high quality projects, I guess like that's the idea of it. But are you looking at it from like a sales perspective, where in my like if I understand correctly, this money would go towards methodology development, and the biggest problem right now that we are facing in general is to create a market for high quality biodiversity credits. I'm not talking about carbon credits, but I'm talking about biodiversity credits. So is it like looking at it from a sales perspective as well, on how like the marketing and sales of that would be supported? Because I'm assuming if it's a lending pool, they would have to give the money back, and to give the money back, they would have to eventually first sell the credit. So how would that work?
Yeah, well, specifically in the case of Soto, he will invest money into the hemp equipment that will help to improve the like proceeds. So it won't be an investment into methodology, it would be in the capital assets. And basically it's like you can consider to be like an agricultural loan that would be returned after he like processes his harvest. So in that sense, it wasn't connected specifically with the methodology. But if you take, for example, a specific ecological project that is looking to do like high scale impact, and they need to invest, like usually development of methodology is around $50,000. So we can, for example, also consider that we will invest in the, or like as a community, into the development of the methodology, and then take either part of the developed credit, or find the other way of repaying that.
So like the repayment of the loan can happen in the form of credits, you sort of cut off. So I'm just like clarifying.
Yeah, it can be like that. And also, like you asked, like, if I'm looking at that as from the sales perspective, I don't think that this is so much for us like a way to profit so much from it. It's mostly as the network development or community development thing, because like as a cooperative, they like, for example, in Turkey, there is problem now to obtain a credit because of the super like high inflation, and we're just trying to help people who are trying to do stuff, and mostly the money would come from the people who are in this, or like or know this person. Yeah.
So is it like a
Oh yeah, sorry, Nana, go ahead.
No, so I just want to clarify. Is it, do you look at it as like then maybe a high impact philanthropy pool?
Well, we try to avoid like it being philanthropy, and we will be like more ethical loans, you would say, ethical finance.
Okay.
My feedback is more general in sense. And yeah, I'm just thinking about like the effectiveness of these calls, and there's like 9 of us here. Like I'm thinking there could be definitely some ways to like improve how we're able to engage with the content, because I feel like reading through it, I don't know, I personally find it difficult, the format of like coming up with the ideas and being able to make the questions, being able to ask the things in this live environment. Like almost reading it before would enable me to like actually come up with the ideas. And then when we get on the call, we can maybe all pool what are like the key areas of discussion that actually have the most overlap between 9 people. Because otherwise what ends up is there's like pockets of discussion that are relevant to some on the call and not others. And it's a difficult like format to like actually make the most effective use of everyone's time, and also being able to actively collaborate and engage, because there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. There's probably a bunch of stuff that Gideon wants to talk about, and Jeff, and likewise. So yeah, I just think that using kind of a more liberating, structured approach could be really valuable for these board meetings, and I think they could ultimately become much more effective in utilizing the kick-ass board that I think we do have. So that's just one sort of feedback, and I'm curious, Gideon, to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge. TC has this too. Like, it's just it's so hard, right? Like, you want to engage folks, and but I think that some of these ideas that Monty's raising, that's a good direction. I have a slightly different thing I just wanted to raise, which is, so I'm still kind of ramping up, and Max and I had a good call the other day. Just he kind of helped me to kind of get a lay of the land. The thing that I am feeling as I kind of listen to all this stuff is like, whoa, there's just so much stuff going on, and it's all super interesting. It's like, oh my God, there's so many exciting things. And my gut sense is maybe too many. It's like there may be too many varied things. And I just feel like one of the challenges with any kind of network or organization is like, what's the unifying strands? Where's the synergy? Where things like everything you do kind of like is a strand in a rope, right? And there's no strands that are just off on their own. Like the whole thing just fits together, and you can feel how it fits, and you can go, yeah, this thing supports this thing, and that supports this. And every time we do this, we're strengthening that, So that would be an interesting conversation to have with this group, right? Because I think you've got this group who's got a little bit of a distance from the day to day, and might be able to help kind of think about those synergies and that kind of stuff. So I think that would be an interesting conversation, or like series of conversations to have.
100%. I really agree. I just want to build on that for 1 sec as well. Which is, we had a similar thing in ReFi DAO as well. Like at some point I had all these ideas of all these amazing, things I could be doing and projects everywhere. And at some point you realize you have a limited budget, and I don't know, maybe we're seeing that come through with the 30K costs and 16K kind of revenue. But I really feel like Trusted Seed could really improve its effectiveness by just narrowing scope and doubling down on the highest leverage opportunities. Like I feel like a lot of these projects sound really nice and they're cool, but if you're being like really critical and scrutinous, like, are they the most effective use of limited time and resources? And could there be like certain opportunities that could be doubled down on that are really going to create that high leverage impact? And yeah, so I would just pose that maybe as something to think about for H2. Like in ReFi DAO, I'm like, okay, well, what is ReFi DAO's core thing? Like, what should we double down on? And I think it's local nodes, because that seems to be where we've got the best foothold, the most strategic advantage. We don't need to produce a million bits of content. There's other podcasts, there's other, other media outlets, etc. So really doubling down on that, I think, will enable us to be much more effective. And that's what I've started to do in ReFi DAO. And I'm just curious, maybe if that could provide some wisdom for Trusted Seed as well.
As we're approaching the end of the meeting, I would also maybe give opportunity for Nana, Jeff, and Chris to reflect as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things that Monty brought up in terms of the meeting format. I mean, there are a few of those aspects that we have done in the past, and I think, yeah, definitely having the material in advance is helpful to facilitate the conversation. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any other specific feedback today from what was gone over. Just really been kind of trying to listen and see what's going on day to day. So I'll leave it at that.
I feel like I'm still like new in understanding all the different programs that are there. And maybe it is my first time, which is why I feel like maybe I lack some critical information to grasp the depth and the width of all the different programs that you're running, because it does feel like it's a lot, which I agree with Gideon and Monty. So maybe it's also about if somebody is new to Trusted Seeds or something, how can we effectively learn about the gist of your different programs that are there? And if it's a lot, then how can you narrow the scope down like they suggested? And definitely like looking at that Q2 report before would have been super helpful to also like learn more about the different things that you're doing before entering the call. So sending it a week before the meeting is supposed to happen would be like a good timeline, because that gives us enough time to absorb different things and, you know, frame questions in our head. But yeah, it would be also helpful to think in what ways are you communicating your programs to the outside world beyond Notion documents, like maybe essays or more like long format writings that people can refer back to. Yeah, something that is just a little bit more static.
Jeff, any final thoughts? You're on mute just in case, Jeff.
I think he said he's got pulled into a panel.
I see. Well,
So he's
then
got-
thank you everybody, and we will include all of your suggestions and into our planning for the next meeting.
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.